Good morning. I'm back with yet another value. And today the value is the value of empathy. Now, you never really understand a person until you consider things from his or her point of view, until you climb into his skin or her skin for that matter and walk around in it. And that's by a guy called Harper Lee from the book To Kill a Mockingbird. Now, we've heard it all, you need to walk in somebody's shoes for 1,000 miles before you understand it. And this really talks into it. Empathy is also something, it's not similar. It's got similar traits to compassion and other kind of feelings of feeling for other people, but it is not the same, obviously. But here in the value of empathy, we'll go into a little bit what empathy actually is, and hopefully that you'll be able to improve on your empathy the same as I need to improve on mine. So empathy is the act of identifying with a person's emotions, desires, and situation. See, empathizing with someone is as simple as cringing when someone tells us how they slammed their fingers in the door, or a profound as relating to someone who's been through something we couldn't imagine, And if you've had your fingers in the door before, I've had that. And I mean, for men, there's other areas when they see football and the football hits somewhere where it shouldn't. And we all go, these are funny examples, but I mean, it is those kind of examples that, we can't even imagine some of the situations other people have been in, but we feel for them. See, developing empathy is, it requires being respectful, sincere, loving, and caring. See, empathizing with someone does not mean that we are endorsing their viewpoints or aligning ourselves with their beliefs. That's totally different. And empathy is remaining non-judgmental while we try to feel what they feel, think what they think, and see what they see. I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea what empathy really is, because that really kind of wraps it all in a nice little holistic kind of package. See, empathy actually increases our understanding and compassion for others. It enables us to communicate and connect at a deeper level. And that's really what it's all about, to connect with people, not just, oh, well, yeah, sorry to hear that. And you're very nonchalant about it. No, I'm really sorry to hear about that. And the best thing is, you want to talk about this, tell me more. Because some people need somebody just to listen to them when they've gone through a situation, they've gone through a crisis, they've gone through something that might even be unbearable to them, but by somebody listening even, that makes a huge difference to people. I talked about the value of listening and how we should listen as well many, many moons ago in one of I think it was the second one, actually, the second value. And if you're on this platform watching this now, you know you've got access to them all, and they're all in here. But while empathy is vital in building connection, it can actually be harmful if we don't get healthy boundaries. Again, the value of boundaries has also been, in fact, it was the third one, I believe. No, not the third one was restraint. Boundary was actually later, a totally different value, of course. But if we become over-involved and begin to internalize other people's feelings, it can negatively affect our state of mind. Now, that's also something that we need to remember, of course, yes, we need to show empathy, we need to show compassion, and especially during these challenging times, it is needed so much more. But while some may see empathy as a weakness or even a time waster, it is vital for building trust and relationships. And that's so important. People say, even in business, people do business with those they know, like, and trust. And that is, of course, trust comes back here again as well. It builds trust. And so don't try to be empathetic with people, to show people empathy just so you want them to trust you. No, do it out from your heart. And if they will start to trust you more. But if you don't show that, you're just hard on people and you don't care, people will never trust you. They don't care about you. And then you wonder why they don't want to do the things you need them to do, whether it's in a business, whether it's in your family, whether it's in your community. It just doesn't happen. So empathy is very important. Compassion is also very, very, very important at these times. My partner, Arthi, my wife, Arthi, is writing a book, The Compassionate Leader of Influence, at the moment. She wrote The Value of Compassion, which is we've already gone through, and that can be found on her website as well, artimoore.com, where you can download it. But I mean, she wrote that value and also a poem about compassion. She is one of the most compassionate people. But this is not the same. If you go to The Value of Compassion, you'll clearly see the differences, but this is also very important. And as you know, we've also got some steps to follow, characteristics, and also the benefits. And the benefit of practicing empathy is that one of them is that you will improve the life of others. See, the act of empathy meets a crucial need. See, the need to be heard and understood. Again, the late Stephen Covey said this: try to understand before being understood. It is also about being interested before you want to be interesting. And all those kind of things speak a little bit into empathy as well. And another benefit of practicing empathy is that you will experience personal growth. See, as you learn about others, you will discover more about yourself and why you do the things you do. That's why these values, these roundtables, this values-based leadership program is so important, because we get an opportunity to sit around the table with others, because there's no judgment in this roundtable process. There's no judgment. We sit and listen to other people. We all talk about ourselves. We share our successes. We'll share our failures, our needs, and who we are. So we learn about each other without having to even ask questions, but we start to understand each other. And we show empathy in our groups as well, wherever it comes up. So it's powerful, and I urge you to become part of a roundtable, become part of this values-based leadership process. You can connect with us anytime you want to, and we'll guide you in the right direction, because we actually train and certify facilitators in this process. So there is also some characteristics of an empathic person, not an empathic person. I said it right this time. Say, these people are active listeners. And we already talked about listening, and the value of listening is here as well. As I said, it's the second one. They put aside all other thoughts and distractions with the full intent of hearing and learning from what the other person has to say. See, they ask thoughtful and clarifying questions to ensure they understand exactly how the other person feels. See, empathy is all about the other person and how we can engage with the other person at a deeper level. And that's what is needed. Ask better questions, listen more, and ask thoughtful questions as well. And then, of course, we have another characteristic of an empathic person is that these people are generous. They set their agendas and beliefs aside so they can extend kindness and compassion. Oh, there's that value of compassion again as well. And kindness, compassion, empathy. People, we need it so much around the world. We need it anytime, but the last 18 months, it really has shown how much people need this, how much people need to connect with others, how much people need to be listened to, how much people need to talk with others, and you know, even touch, collaborating, connecting, engaging with others, whether it preferably through physical contact, you know, a hug even. But at the moment, if it's not possible, then at least through one of these mediums. It really helps people, and it saves lives. In fact, it might even save yours. Then we have 2 steps to follow to become more empathic. And one of them is develop a curiosity about others. See, notice how those around you and step out of your comfort zone to slowly find out more about them. So you don't have to ask big questions, but start a conversation with people. You know, leadership is all about influence, nothing more, nothing less, as John Maxwell says. And how do you get influence with people, not over people, is build relationships. How do you build relationships? By asking better questions. How do you ask better questions? By listening more. I talk about this again and again as well, including in my personal development programs, where we always talk about we need to grow from within. We need to be that leader, because leadership starts with self-leadership, and that starts with personal growth. And so all this connects together. You can see it. This is all about personal growth. Even the values is a basic foundation of life, of business, and of your social environment. So slowly ask about them. You know, it starts with a simple question. And the more you listen, the more important questions you can ask, and the deeper questions you can go, the deeper you can go, because you start building this trust connection, because you show empathy. The second one is make an effort to connect with people who are different than you. Now, that is very powerful because it's easy to connect with people who are similar. As a behavior analysis consultant, I talk into this. The people who are very similar to you, easy to connect with. You have a ball. But it's the ones who are not only different, the ones who are totally opposite you. There's four main areas of communication, and I talk into that. But the ones who are totally opposite of you, they say opposites attract, but I mean, it's sometimes very difficult to understand them and we miscommunicating because we talk and are so different and behave so differently, but make an effort to connect with people who are very different to you. Even if you've never been through what they have, or you have clashing personalities or values, we all have many of the same core desires and fears. See, you could also check out podcasts or create blogs by people, check out podcasts or blogs created by people who think differently than you to gain insights in why they feel the way they do. And, there is, as I say, personal development and behavior analysis, profiling, all those kind of things also, learning styles. It explains why we are not so dissimilar. And it's say, if you have clashing personalities or values, then it is even more important to try and understand. It's not who's right, who's wrong. It's just about being able to have a discussion where you can understand these things from another person's point of view. And that is something that is really missing. Many people think they're right because they've got one viewpoint, they never got another one, but they've got one viewpoint, they're right, and they don't want to listen to any other viewpoint. And if you say something different, they call you names, and they've done that to me because I speak my truth too, but it doesn't matter to me. I understand that some people don't want to know that there is another opinion, there's another perception, another belief, and they don't want to have discussions because they're right, and that's it. I don't go down to their level. I try to lift them up. And if that's not happening, then we walk away from the conversation. But I will honestly have conversations with each and every one. And sometimes I am wrong, sometimes they're wrong, and sometimes the truth is somewhere in the middle. But at these times, we need to open our hearts and souls to people and show more empathy, more so than ever before, because we need it. So, write down what step you're going to take in the next few days to become more empathic. What are you going to do? When are you going to do it? Who are you going to do it with? And how are you going to do it? Write it down and follow through with your actions, because all this requires action. Never mind how good all these values are, it requires actions. And when you take action on anything, it really is so powerful. And when you do, I look forward to seeing you in the next value. Take care.